incredibly busy. He does a bunch of shows, Celebrity Family Feud, Little Big Shots. Now he's got a new revival of Showtime at the Paul. I don't know why I'm giving him a plug when he's such. This is the same guy who rails against people who don't believe in his particular voodoo.
Right? Against gay people.
Against gay people, against Asians.
I think Steve Harvey some stand-up ass motherfucker man. I'm a kiss this old girl who owned TV One. He used to kiss her. That's how he had the radio show out here.
The most well-known TV show host in America, if not the entire world, will always remain Steve Harvey. Although most people think Steve is the most well-liked celebrity, his closest pals don't agree. If you ask anyone who has worked with him, they'll all give you a completely different story. Now that he has been legally sacked, what does Steve Harvey have to say about his online witch hunt?
I hear you, brother, okay? Having said that, that doesn't give you license to be such a to people you work with.
The heyday of Steve Harvey seems to be ended, and it's time to get even. Steve has a long history of being well known and respected by both his co-workers and colleagues in the profession, as well as by members of the general public. He was the man when it came to morning shows. Although he's still the most recognizable guy in any room today, he comes across as less endearing in real life than he does in movies. In reality, working with him is challenging, and enough is enough.
You're telling people you work with, I don't want you even to be next to me. Like, I have such disdain for you that I am annoyed by your presence.
You might be curious as to why Steve Harvey is being fired after so many years. It is as a result of him finally giving up on trying to be the good guy and coming out as himself. He gave a note to his staff, and now people are finally seeing him differently. And trust us when we suggest that keeping quiet is preferable. In his memo, Steve made no attempt to be nice and instead created a barrier between himself and his coworkers, as if they were beneath him. The memo read, "My security team will stop everyone from standing at my door who have the intent to see or speak to me. I want all the ambushing to stop now. That includes TV staff. You must schedule an appointment. I promise you, I will not entertain you in the hallway, and do not attempt to walk with me." Do you really think Steve has addressed the criticism of the memo? He has increased his efforts rather than offering his regrets. He feels that individuals who approach him are trying to take advantage of him. Talk about being cocky. I could not find a way to walk from the stage to my dressing room, to sit in my makeup chair, to walk from my dressing room to the stage, or to just sit and have lunch without somebody just walking in. I've always had a policy where, you can come and talk to me. So many people are great around here, but some of them just started taking advantage of it. Steve thinks having fans and people waiting on him felt like a prison and was sick of it. I just didn't want to be in this prison anymore, where I had to be in this little room, scared to go out and take a breath of fresh air without somebody approaching me. So I wrote the letter. In the end, he outright refused to accept responsibility for his error or express regret. Steve believes he can say or do anything since he has been untouchable for so long. I don't apologize about the letter, but it's kind of crazy what people who took this thing and ran, man. It is clear that he doesn't think many people are worth his time, given that he has refused to let anyone approach him at work. Steve has little interest in improving his reputation for seeming obnoxious and conceited, and he doesn't even appear to be aware of it. Some of you might think he has a reasonable reason for not wanting to talk to anyone at work, but you're ignoring the reality that he's been a jerk his entire life. He had previously behaved poorly and expected everyone to overlook it. No different this time. The news that Steve Harvey has always been a racist, hateful person may shock some of you. He does not feel embarrassed to publicly declare his racism and homophobia.
A sexual relationship, because there are gay men out there who can live without us sexually.
Real men.
Straight men, not real men. Gay men are real men. They are real men.
But that's not all. Steve seems to believe gay men aren't real men. He hates Asians too, despite being a man of color himself. Steve doesn't mind acting in a discriminatory manner toward Asian people as long as it doesn't negatively impact members of his own race, which is contrary to what one might expect from a black man who is also an Asian. In one of his parts, he made an attempt to parody the book How to Date a White Woman, a practical guide for Asian men. His response? Also, one page that, "I'm sorry, do you prefer Asian men? No? I appreciate it." Asian men were upset by his insulting comment, and they exposed his hypocrisy. Steve liked Eddie Huang's witty commentary about the host's personality. He speaks openly about issues facing the black community. He is a man of God, and he has a huge platform to speak from. Unfortunately, he's also the type of guy who orders crude champagne for himself and cooks for everyone else. For his own personal profit, he is willing to perpetuate the emasculation of Asian men regardless of how hypocritical it is. Next on the never-ending list of everything wrong with Steve Harvey is his conviction that sex is the only thing men want from women. As a guy, those of us who are friends with women are just looking for an excuse to have sex. Thus, he also admitted that he didn't have any female pals. Not to add, he insults his visitors and mocks them. After making fun of Ernie Hudson's son because of his voice, he has effectively turned Ernie Hudson into a foe. Ernie recalled, "We had a great time. Even though Steve Harvey was annoying, my youngest son is very soft-spoken, and Steve was kind of making fun of his voice. I'm sitting there. Don't show that you're getting annoyed. I will knock him out." At this point, it's clear you cannot put anything beside Steve Harvey. He doesn't even get the meaning of consent. When asked for advice on how to turn away suitors, Harvey told a poor woman, "You cannot stop a guy. Once a guy is interested in you, we lock in. We don't care what you do." Despite his bad judgments and comedy based on gender stereotypes, he presents himself as a relationship expert and gives advice. Do not forget how tumultuous his personal love life is.
Steve Harvey is on his third marriage. His third wife was mistress to his second wife.
He cheated on all of his wives once more, and he doesn't even know why that's horrible. Instead, he made an effort to rationalize cheating, but only for men. Men can cheat because there are so many women willing to give themselves to a man who doesn't belong to them. Additionally, he feels strongly about atheists and other people's religious beliefs. Once more, he thinks that he is right and everyone else is mistaken. He called all atheists stupid and claimed that he didn't think they had any moral beliefs when asked about them.
To someone who doesn't quite believe that there is somebody out there, some God out there.
Well, then to me, you're an idiot.
Steve knew that ultimately his words and actions would come back to haunt him. He declared in 2022 that he would stop doing stand-up comedy because of the cancel culture. He was unaware that someone else had already used his chance to shine. We're in the cancel culture and nobody, no stand-up alive, that is sponsor-driven, can say anything he wants to. People are highlighting how long overdue the Steve Harvey cancellation was. His TV show should have been canceled years ago, man. When he has been acting in a homophobic and racist manner for years, why wait till he acts in an outwardly superior manner? One person wrote, "Did the black community cancel Steve Harvey for being a misogynistic, homophobic fraud yet? Just wondering." People couldn't believe this man kept getting opportunities up until now, despite his past. When he got to host Miss Universe in 2021, one person couldn't help but comment, "Why is a sexist, patronizing, homophobic man like Steve Harvey allowed to host Miss Universe 2021? It's so cringy to watch him objectify and talk down to the contestants, judges, and every woman he encountered. Miss Universe, please let a woman host the event in the future." Naturally, some individuals think that canceling Steve Harvey's show as a result of his memo today was excessive. After all, we all wish we could offer the same to our coworkers. Tell them to leave us alone and not bother us. One fan wrote, "I remember Steve Harvey getting roasted for that harsh memo that he sent out about not wanting to be disturbed. Honestly, I get it. I wish I could send one out that tells people not to pester me when I have food and clearly have lunch on the brain." Thanks for watching our video. Make sure to subscribe our channel for more celeb videos. Don't forget to like and comment. Also share it with friends and family.